I am D. Collins, Pastor D, Dunamis D, just D. And I want to thank you for tuning in to Dunamis Woman today, because we have nuggets for you that is strictly based upon the kingdom. The kingdom. It's all about the kingdom. I can't say it enough. I can't stress it enough. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it, because it's all about the kingdom. And one thing the kingdom requires, it requires the truth. The truth will make you free. So I want you to get a pen, get a paper, and I want you to intensely listen, because the word of truth will set you free. And I'm going to teach you, because it's all about the kingdom. You, me, we're in a relationship, and I want you to stay tuned, because after this teaching, I'm going to come back and I'm going to engage with you. I am Pastor D, and I'm looking forward to you.
Welcome to Dunamis Woman today. I am your powerful Dunamis woman, Ariel Fuller, and I'm here with another Dunamis woman,
Allison Fuller.
And we want to welcome you to this segment. This is a special edition where we were really diving in the first segment. And if you haven't watched that first segment of our video with women and mother and daughter relationships, I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel and watch that first one, because we really share some positive nuggets in there and some real talk nuggets that we're gonna do a quick preview, but I want you to really go there and watch that first episode, because we were talking about dissension and tension between mothers and daughters, and just growing up in that whole process of mother-daughter relationships. And then really we talked about mention the girl, who this little girl is, what is a little girl, and how that is a degrading term, but really how this little girl finds her development process and becoming, a woman. And then we talked about the female, and what a female is, and how really you may have a mother who is technically a female, mentally and emotionally, and she's living with her daughter who is a female also, because it's not just chronologic. Most people think because you become a woman, it's because you got the breasts, the boobs, the car, the house, the clothes, and that is no way. I hope you're listening. No way that you are a woman. Just because you have birthed a child, that does not mean you're a woman. So I want to take out that whole mentality of thinking that because you have accomplished certain things in life that you have reached womanhood, because what we're talking about is a mental and emotional development, and that's really what matters. The external things doesn't matter, but it's really the internal. And so we can both attest to that, because Allison, you're a mom, yeah. And just because you birthed a child, that doesn't mean that you have reached womanhood.
No.
And then I'm not, I'm not a mom, I'm not married, I'm not in any type of relationship, but I have been through processes of life, and I have developed and grown in figuring out this transition mentally. And just because I'm young and 25, I'm mentally older than some people who are older than my age. So kind of, if you want to recap just really what we talked about when it comes to females and...
Well, just to recap, it was more so how one I stated is how some young girls go straight to womanhood. They don't enjoy the female life, or they don't get to explore who they are. One thing I tell even the young girls that I know, even though they're my age, I tell them, enjoy, get to know how you like your coffee. Get to know how you like to walk, discover you. And I think a lot of young females, they jump into that. Another thing is more so how, the dissension between me and you. You stated how, I put bleach to mess up your face, all this other stuff. And I also talked about when it came to the jealousy between sisterhood and how that can transfer over into becoming a mother.
Yeah.
Because, not only was I jealous of you and mommy, but when it comes to my daughter, that's something we talked about as well.
Yeah, because you could have that mother who is, still has not reached womanhood. She is, a female, and there's competition between her and her daughter, because they're trying to fight for the same things in life, whether it's that job or that career that we talked about. But reality, it's mentally. That's why you guys battle so much mentally with each other, mother and daughter, because you have two females catting at each other, and scratching and arguing and all this different stuff, because they're both trying to find themselves, and this is not a overnight process. You could be in the female stage for years, and honestly, you can get stuck in the female stage. And what I tell a lot of girls, that what makes you stuck in the female stage, to me, is getting caught up on the material things, getting caught up on the external things, getting caught up on, oh, I need this car, I need this clothes, I got to keep this job. And most importantly, what gets you stuck in the female state is getting caught up with a man.
And then also another thing that gets you caught up in the female state is what I stated in the previous episode as well, ownership. Mm-hmm. As long as you never take ownership for you and your life and what you do and what you have done, and you always blaming and always playing the victim, you would never be able to grow into a woman. Yeah. Because women take ownership for what they do and how they do it, but they also stand in who they need to be. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing.
Because taking ownership, and that's ownership in all areas of your life. You know, ownership in your relationships, ownership in your career path, ownership, like you said, of that victim mentality of that past, taking ownership of that little girl. Mm-hmm. Like you said, you know, you could be 27 years old, but still that 7-year-old little girl still resides in you. You don't know how to control that yet. So taking ownership of her and saying, you know, like I was talking about when I growing up, and mommy used to her punishment for me was more like the silent treatment. And so that would kick in my little girl feeling rejected and feeling lonely and feeling like no one wanted to listen to me, because I love to talk, clearly you can see. But when someone doesn't listen to me, it makes me feel rejected and abandoned. When someone doesn't believe in my dreams, it makes me feel less than. And especially because when you're such a powerful young girl or powerful young woman, so many people like to shut that down. And you see it starting off as a little girl. You know, I remember watching a little girl the other day, and she was like playing shopping, and she was like, okay, I'm buying this, I'm doing that, I'm going there. And she was just so demanding, you know. And so many people could shut that down at a 6-year-old, you know, state of mindset because of her personality. So growing up, you've had so many people externally try to shut down your dreams and shut down your internal truth of who you are and your personality. And that has caused you, that little girl, to hurt, if it makes sense.
And then, you know, even with, like you said, the rejection, the shutting down, you know, yours is more so the silent treatment. Me, I was more so, okay, I'll take it. I'll take the, you know, whooping that's coming my way. I would take, you know, and then as I got older, the silent treatment. And then even, you know, the difference is where mommy allowed me to go through some things. Because me, all it needed for me to do was just to see somebody go through something, and then that's it. But when it came to me becoming a mother, I got scared. You know, I was talking the big girl talk, like, yep, I got my own car. I was working 2 jobs, you know, going to school full time. I got everything. And as soon as, you know, the pregnancy test set in, I was like, I can't do this. Like, no, you know, somebody saved me. And I think even with you, seeing me go through that process, that in a sense developed you and also stopped you to make, okay, let me make critical decisions in life. You know, watching me. And I think a lot of young sisters, because not even just with you and me, our mindsets are so above and beyond of what we are. But I believe that younger sisters look up to their older sisters. And then some instances where I take up ownership and regret that I've done some things, whereas you decided, well, I'm not going to do it. Instead of following my footsteps, I'm not going to do this. You know, so that's one thing.
And it's good that you mentioned that of like, okay, I'm not going to do this, because a lot of times daughters like to say they're not going to do what they see their mother do, and so many times they don't even realize that they're repeating the generational cycle over and over and over again. Because if you don't take that time to really look and see that mirroring image of your mother, or learn from her mistakes, or learn from what she has been through in life, and it goes a two-way street. Not only do you have to look at her and humble yourself to say, okay, I'm going to learn from this woman, but the mother has to humble herself enough to say, I'm going to teach my daughter. I'm going to teach my daughter the woman part of me, or the broken female part of me, or the little girl part of me. You know, I'm going to take that time to look at the inside of who I am and help her develop, because although you may want so much from your mother or desire so much, she has to be mature enough, and like you said, that ownership to give that back to you. So it's a repetitive cycle that has to continue to go, but a lot of times you want to just move forward and say, okay, I'm not going to do what my mother did. And so many times, and no one can convince me any different, that generational cycles are real. They are so real. I see girls who are like, my mom had me at 16. I'm not having nobody at 16, and they have their baby at 16. I mean, it's just so real how you repeat the same cycle, and the enemy wants that cycle to continue.
And that's the thing, you know, what you saying, how the enemy wants that cycle to continue. And the way the enemy wants that cycle to continue is by us shutting our mouths.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing when it comes to, I am grateful for with our mother, because she, now knowing what she knows, she's not shutting her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
She's talking to us, you know. I'm grateful that I can call her and be like, okay, this is what I'm going through. And I can be real with her. And not a lot of women, especially in our community, like to talk about those things. And I think that's real important going into womanhood,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that they're able to talk, and no longer are you going to shut your mouth about your pains, and no longer you're going to shut your mouth about, you know, your journey. So.
And you were right into it, going into womanhood. And this next, after this break, we're going to really just go into womanhood and enlighten you what we've learned, what a woman really is in this process. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Allow me some time to talk to you about Kingdom Partnership. I am a member of Dunamis Woman Ram International Ministries. We admonish each and every one of you to become a kingdom partner. It's about truth, as not concealed. Do you know your purpose? Do you know anything about kingdom living? We live in the world, but we should not be of the world. The Kingdom Partnership is actually just opening you up to a new level of truth, opening you up to doors, opening you up to the good news and the gospel of Jesus Christ, His message, His ministry. We model that here at our ministry. And with our Kingdom Partnership, you will receive a coaching session for 30 minutes with the pastor, Pastor D, or with one of us in the ministry. In addition to that, you will receive a book, How to Pray with Power on Purpose. It's not just about prayer, but it's about praying with power, and it's about praying with purpose, with specificity for your life. That's what the Kingdom Partnership gives you. It actually allows you to understand who you were made to be, not who you've become, not who the world has told you, and not what you think the world wants to see, but who did God call you to be? Kingdom-minded citizen. And that's what we ask you to partner with us in, to know who you are. It's not about us. It's not about what we receive, but it's about the truth that we're offering and we're able to give you as a partner. I thank you in advance for visiting our website, www.dunamis-woman.com. I thank you in advance for calling 1-855-BE-DUNAMIS. Become a partner. Understand your citizenship. You are a son and a daughter at the table. Let's start living who we really are as kingdom citizens. Through Kingdom Partnership, I ask you to join Dunamis Woman Ram International Ministries. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back. I know you saw that commercial about being a kingdom partner, and we encourage you to be a kingdom partner and continue to, if you love what you're watching here today, continue to uplift us and be that partner with us so that we can continue to keep this message out there. But like I said before we left, that we were going into what womanhood is and what we learn in Leadership Institute, what a woman is. And there's so many assets to a woman. And this is why it's not an overnight process of becoming one. And it's not just about physical, it's more about internal. And it takes, like you said, that big word, ownership, a lot of ownership. But one thing that we learned that stuck out for me of what a woman really is and stepping into womanhood is we've learned in Leadership Institute being silent. A woman is silent. A woman knows that she does not have to boast about everything that she has. A woman is silent in who she is internally. She knows her gift. She knows her purpose. A woman is silent with her man, not having to tell him all what he needs to do and what not to do. A woman is even silent with her children. Because she knows each and every one of her childs and their personality and who they are and the processes they have to go through. And it's so hard for females to be silent. To just stand in the authenticity of who they are. So let's talk about that for a little bit of why being silent is so important.
Being silent is, you look at I would say for us being silent, you look at the Rosa Parks and the women who have paved the way for us. Being silent is important because even when they were silent, they even got something accomplished. Mm-hmm. Like the saying goes, silence speaks 1,000 words. Mm-hmm. And it's more so the more you talk, it tunes, everyone is just going to tune you out because in their mind, they're like, okay, I'm tired of hearing you. But when you're silent and you let someone go through their process and you just still be silent, still be still, I think that's what really draws people in and be like, okay, what she's thinking about, what she's doing, you know, or let me think about what I need to do. You know, it's always you want to keep people in their own thoughts. And, I think silence is, now it's hard to be silent. You know, of course you want everyone to hear what you have to say and be so opinionated. But I think, you know, like I said, it goes back to even back in the day with the Rosa Parks and, you know, Coretta Scott King. And, you know, those women were silenced, but they stand strong till this day.
And silence also allows God to move, because being a woman, you know, yes, we talk about dunamis woman and being a powerful woman, and then you even have people out there who talk about feminism, you know, but being a silent, powerful woman, you are not God, you know, and when you're silent, you know that you're allowing God to move in other people's lives.
But when it comes to being silent, it's just more so when you are silent, you know, even as a mother, going back to motherhood, and even with God, sometimes when you're a mother and God is around, you have to be silent, because the more we tell God our thoughts, he's going to get distracted. He's going to get frustrated. And then the more, as a woman, if we're silenced and we let God deal with with me, my child, whereas mommy growing up, she gave you the silent treatment. If she never would have gave you the silent treatment, it's more so where would you have grown and developed, you know, the more she stopped talking, because God is able to deal with you. As long as she's silent, then God is able to talk to you. Because the more she's in God's ear and not being silent, the more she's in your ear, then God can't talk to you. You know, so it's just more so, I think the silence part of it, that's how strong it is. You know, the more we're silent, the more we're able to move, the more we're able to just even free flow. And think about it, in a lot of chaos, you can't move the way you want to. You know, even when it comes to just the natural part of it. As long as my daughter is just, mommy, 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 I can't really move. But the more it's silence, I can move, I can see, I can observe.
Yeah, and I think it's very important when it comes to that mother and daughter. But another thing that we learn when it comes to womanhood is, you know, one, needing other women around you. You know, a lot of times you say, oh, I don't need other women, and there's so many other tension that you have in other women, but it's really saying, okay, I need other women in my life, and most importantly, I need my mother in my life. You know, if your mother is still alive, she may not be the best person, you know, she may not even be mature in some ways, but knowing that you need still something from her, you know, to step over and get that development. But really not only needing something from other women, but also being in your purpose of who you're supposed to be as a woman. I think when you're in your purpose, and you're aligned with other people who are in your purpose that are women, you really understand that more. And the beautiful thing is, your mother's in purpose and you're in purpose at the same time. I think you're able to flow a little bit more. And we've learned that, you know, with mommy fulfilling her purpose in life, you know, and us understanding our purpose in life, it really helps us to be able to understand, okay, this is why we can collaborate and enhance each other a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also just to piggyback on you, I also, you know, think one thing I am learning about womanhood is not apologizing for being a woman. And a lot of women apologize. You know, they apologize because it's more so of, you know, I'm sorry if I do this. I'm sorry. Women stand in the true authenticity of who they are. No longer am I going to apologize for what I do and how I do it. You know, but I will apologize for, you know, certain things if, you know, with me being wrong, but I'm not going to apologize for who I am. And I think that's a major part of being a woman, instead of, you know, not feeling bad about being a woman, taking ownership that, you know, I am demanding and this is what I want, this is what I require. Because as long as a woman growing in that, you're never going to state what you require. See, for me, little girls are very closed-mouthed and they, you know, this is what I want. But a woman stands up with her high heels on and say, this is what I want, this is what I need. And I'm not going to apologize for it, but I will respect you, you know.
Yeah, and standing there for who you are being purpose driven too, not
Yeah.
just standing up in who you are and being, you know, vindictive and rude and nasty and evil. Like, this is what I want, and this is how it's gonna happen. But really standing up in who you are as like, is this aligned with my purpose? You know, is this decision aligned with my purpose? Is this relationship aligned with my purpose? You know, what I'm learning, what I'm putting into me, is that aligned with my purpose? And oftentimes, you know, when you do those things and when you look at discovering who you are as a woman and your purpose, it's so easy for you to maneuver through life and make those cautious decisions. But even most important thing is when it comes to mother-daughter relationships, when you understand who you are as a woman and your purpose, you can bring healing to your mother. That may not be that woman that you want her to be. You can be that bigger person to bring healing, you know, for her life and help her go through her transitions, and see her in a whole nother different light, you know, instead of having that tension or dissension or looking down upon her for the mistakes that you think that she's made. You really now see her for in a whole different perspective, you know, and so you're able to really appreciate her for where she is. Whether she's still a little girl, whether she's still a female, or whether she's a woman, you appreciate her for where she is. And you bring healing to her through the healing process that you have been through. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I think that's another thing when it comes to just the three of us, me, you, and Mommy. It's more so, you know, I think tremendously, even our mother has grown, seeing us go through our developmental stages. I think she has grown tremendously from how she was from when we were little girls. And, you know, and I think you can attest how a lot of women, now that she's out there speaking and she's on platforms, a lot of women are like, oh, I wish I had a mother like that. And we're looking like, you don't know how, you know. So definitely I think that she has grown and she has developed in like tremendous ways. And not only that, even just seeing us grow have even helped her even become prosperous, or have even helped her to understand some things, even with our growth and our maturity. And even to keep between me and you, you know, seeing you grow has made me grow. Seeing you grow, you know, has made me want to strive for better. And, you know, I would say vice versa. You know, seeing me go through things, I see the growth and maturity. You even give me hugs now. You even talk to me. You know, we even laugh together. So, you know, I think just going through this process of learning who we are as women, and we're not done learning who you are as a woman, but I think it's definitely a journey.
And it's like you said, simultaneously, in order for your mother to grow and become the woman that God desired for her to be, it requires you to grow too. You can't still try to hold her back as she becomes the woman that she wants to be. So it's your own individual walk, but it complements each other at the same time. So we just want to thank you for tuning in. I hope you got some good nuggets from this. Visit us on our social media. Go to our Facebook, our Instagram. Just type Dunamis Woman. If you go to YouTube, type Dunamis Woman Ministries or D Speaks You Think. All of it will pop up that you could just really just get more fulfilling, more educational videos, more insight. And we want to hear back from you. So find us, contact us, and we look forward to hearing from you, and have a great rest of your day.
Hi, I'm Ariel, and I know that you have been blessed by that taping of the healing of our daughters. And I'm coming to you as Dee's youngest daughter. And I have been going through my healing process probably since I was first born. But being 25, the healing process is really a tender process that really is important for you and important for me to even understand who I am, not who my parent created me to be, not who my father wanted me to be, but who God called me to be. And I am truly getting fulfilled by the Kingdom Leadership and Coaching Institute and taking that out into the community, talking to our youth, talking to young women and young men who don't have their mothers, who don't have their natural fathers, who don't even have that relationship with their spiritual fathers. So this is so important, and I want you to continue to join this movement with us. Contact us. Visit us on Facebook. You can just type in Dunamis Woman. Search us on YouTube. Keep looking at all those tapings. Get fulfilled, because this is the true purpose and calling for your life. And I know that you will be immensely blessed by the knowledge and the teachings and the word that's going to be used in your life, but not just for you, but for younger generations. Whether you have kids, whether you have cousins, whether you have nieces, This is something that our generation necessarily needs in their life. So I invite you to search us on Twitter, Instagram, if you're on social media. Visit our websites at dunamis-woman.com. Visit Dee's website at dspeaksyouthink.com. Invite her to your church. Just because we're Kingdom Leadership and Coaching Institute, we are on the movement. So come, have her come to your women's ministry. Have her come speak to your men's ministry. Have her come fulfill your home. Wherever you are, I want you to join us on this movement. So I want to thank you, and I pray that you will start your healing process as God's daughter, and that you will become the woman that you have always wanted to become, and the woman that God knows that you can become. So I thank you, and I look forward to seeing you, and stay blessed.